In a world captivated by the romanticized image of the passionate, natural-born entrepreneur, a less glamorous realm exists where accidental founders find their place. We are individuals who never aspire to disrupt industries or accumulate vast fortunes, but instead we stumble upon entrepreneurship unprepared and unsuspecting. Today, I invite you to join me as I unfold how I, an unlikely candidate, became an accidental co-founder. It's a tale of unexpected detours, uncharted territories without a compass, young women's challenges in a male-dominated industry, and the triumph of carving our unique paths. So before the summer of 2015, the idea of entrepreneurship, startup life, or leaving my very comfortable 9-to-5 job had never crossed my mind. And that all changed when a question from my colleague and close friend presented itself, a question that would completely transform my career and life. Do you want to leave and start something on our own? And by 2016, I officially became an accidental co-founder as part of a founding team of 5 with a very interesting dynamic. The average age gap between me and my co-founders was 8 years, and I was the lone female on the founding team. From day one, it became apparent that I was not on equal footing, not on an equal playing field with the other co-founders. I received significantly less salary and equity, and I wasn't even involved in choosing the name of our startup. But I overlooked these inequalities because of I was very naive and I had a lack of experience as part of a founding team. I kept telling myself, experience, experience, experience. The excitement of being part of the journey outweighed the financial compensation, and we were doing very big things. I was working relentlessly, putting my heart and soul into building my baby, a research and UX platform for banks. And then came the defining moment. Just a month after celebrating our first anniversary, I faced a choice that would alter the trajectory of my life. The typical, do I chase the career or go for the personal dream? The choice I had to make was simple. Stay as a co-founder and live in London, or move to Berlin and give it all up. How did I find myself at this critical juncture? I had shared my aspiration to move to Berlin with my co-founders, suggesting a twice-a-month commute at my own expense. I loved Berlin. It had been my dream since my early 20s to spend at least a couple of years there. And Berlin wasn't a random city. There was a very vibrant and flourishing fintech scene, and we even had a client there. Most of the co-founders didn't live in London. At the time, everything seemed promising, and I had complete confidence in our ability to make it work. But life threw me a lemon, and my relocation plan was not accepted, and I was presented with 2 options. Move to Berlin, give up my directorship, switch to a contract role, and forfeit the vesting of my shares, or forget my dream, stay in London, and continue as a co-founder. So standing at these crossroads, thinking, what on earth do I do? 2 truths became clear. The first was that the professional will always supersede the personal in a co-founding team, and I was on team personal. The second truth ignited a fire within me. I recognized that I was only digging a deeper hole for myself by remaining silent and accepting the inequalities amongst the co-founding team. If I didn't stand up for my worth and demand equitable treatment, I would continue to find myself on unequal footing. But even with these realizations, the decision weighed heavily on me. I yearned to build something remarkable with my co-founders, yet Berlin represented a chance to craft my life. So at 31, I had 0 commitments, no house, no husband, no kids, no pets. I had a British passport, Brexit was coming up, I had limited time to get to Europe. And Berlin was a plan, and it was my plan, and it was not an accident. And so in August of 2017, fueled by fear and determination, I boldly decided to leave the company that I accidentally co-founded. And making that decision was undoubtedly the most difficult decision of my life. And while I had no concrete plans for what lay ahead, I was sure I was beginning to create a compass to guide me through what my version of entrepreneurship looked like and the values I wanted to live and work by. And thus began the most challenging and emotionally draining 3 months of my life, an experience I would never wish upon my worst enemies. So I think here we'll have the picture of a WeWork bathroom. I'm sure many of you recognize it. And this is where I spent countless moments muffling my sobs and crying in a corner stall because my co-founders wouldn't speak to me, wouldn't look at me every day in the office. The divorce was so messy. The isolation made me question my self-worth, my contributions, everything felt diminished. I wasn't meant to be a co-founder, and I felt like a failure. But amongst the turmoil, I met with my old boss, and he helped me realize that the situation presented an opportunity in disguise. And he reiterated that it was okay not to be a co-founder. And he suggested, why not become your own boss? I could start my own business, I could still work with banks and fintechs and have an impact on the fintech scene. He reminded me of the age-old saying, when life gives you lemon, make lemonade. And at that moment, I decided purposefully to become a solopreneur. Co-founding was not for me. I cherished my independence and vowed to avoid situations where I could be easily subjected to an unlevel playing field. To me, to get to that unicorn status would not be worth sacrificing those two values. So I shaped a unique USP, seized control of my career and my life, and I chose to make my own brand of lemonade. And today, I can say that I'm super proud of the lemonade that I make. Since arriving in Berlin in October 2017, I've worked with over 45 startups, scale-ups, and corporates in tech, fintech, and banking. And these include really amazing companies like Spotify and over 5 fintech unicorns. This year, I became a fintech contributor at Forbes and joined the advisory board of 2 early-stage startups. Since 2017, my yearly income as a solopreneur has consistently increased, and this year I've signed a book deal to author a book on financial inclusion. For me, it's very important to have, the personal and the professional and find this balance. In 2012, after living out my dream in Berlin, I moved to Portugal to buy a house with my partner, who I met on complete chance one night out in Berlin a couple months after moving there. So at the start of my journey as a solopreneur, I reflected on my learnings and made a promise to myself that would shape my approach to entrepreneurship and guide my interactions with others, whether they be the clients I work with, or the peers I work with, or the colleagues that I work with. It was a promise never to forget the importance of sticking to our values and not accepting inequality. The pledge had become my compass, the one I wish I had when I became an accidental co-founder. It has become a lens through which I choose whom I want to partner and collaborate with, and it enables me to identify swiftly and, where possible, mitigate unfairness or mistreatment affecting not only me, but more importantly, my colleagues and peers. And although my story of divorce and departure from the world of co-founding may not directly relate or resonate with everyone here, its underlying message, I believe, holds universal significance. When facing hardships or unexpected obstacles, embrace the challenges, for within them lie hidden opportunities. Find your inner compass, never doubt your worth, and don't be afraid to craft your unique brand of entrepreneurship, because it comes in all different shapes and sizes. Thank you.